I'd like to invite you to a different kind of challenge. Lately, I have found that my prayer life has been neglected. It's become routine, and I would like to renew it and become more powerful, more effective, more strategic, more intentional. We can do that by looking at Scripture and learning from what God has taught us about prayer and then praying. Here's the first verse that will challenge us. 1 Peter 4:7. The end of all things is at hand. Therefore, be serious and watchful for the purpose of prayer. Some days it does feel like the end of all things are at hand. The world seems chaotic, out of control. Peter and the early church did think the end of all things was at hand. It could happen at any time. And so they were given to a sense of urgency, and this led to serious prayer. So right now, I want to pray. Help me, Lord, to have sound judgment in the use of my time. It is so easy to be distracted with the things of the world. And yet you have promised to come, and you will come. May I be ready to see you coming on the clouds. So looking at this verse, we see that Peter tells us, therefore, be watchful in your prayers. What does that mean? Well, the synonyms could be alert, vigilant, attentive, perceptive, awake, aware, sharp-eyed. We do need to have our hearts and our minds and our eyes alert. Life is busy and we can easily get distracted. Well, I admit I find myself spending way too much time on Pinterest. And then my prayers get shortened. Or if I'm praying too comfortably, well, I can fall asleep. Hardly alert and sharp-eyed. To be watchful also means to be alert to other people's needs. We can be watching carefully. Do they have sad eyes? Do they seem anxious? Do they need us to pray for them? We can be intentional and asking people, can I pray for you? I met somebody in church last Sunday. He told me about a problem that his wife was having physically. And I just stopped and said, can I pray with you? I didn't know this man. He just happened to be sitting behind me. But he said, yes, like he was surprised. And then I prayed, and he felt so blessed by that. And so did I. Notice that in this verse, Peter encourages us to consider the end of all time that is connected with the purpose of prayer. So we can pray, your kingdom come. And let me be part of building your kingdom until it does come. We need to be convinced that this is a command of God, that this verse is telling us how to pray, and we need to be serious, watchful. Do you want to join me in being more effective in our prayer life and not just falling asleep? I like this idea. Eternity is hastening towards us like an unstoppable army. And this quote by Longfellow, rushed as a wind that is keen and cold and relentless. So let's take prayer seriously. Watch next week's video to learn more about prayer.